Now that E3 has finally come and gone, there was one resounding fact that took place. It's that Xbox truly did save E3 this year. Xbox showed up to E3 with one of the best virtual events we've ever seen in gaming. Ever. They also showed the biggest games that fans were starving to see coming to PC and Xbox. Let's get into why this truly helped solidify E3 for a very long time. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that small bell icon. It really helps out the channel. But enough of that, let's get into why I believe Xbox saved E3 this year and why it might have long-lasting effects in the gaming industry for quite some time. Because let's be honest with each other for a second. Last year, E3 looked almost dead. With the situation going on around the world all of last year across the globe, E3 and pretty much all live events were canceled. You throw in Sony not showing up to E3 anymore for the last several years, and there's rumors they don't want to put down the money to go to these events anymore. With Sony being one of the biggest publishers in gaming, it was a huge hit to E3. But last year was almost the final nail in the coffin when it came to E3 with Xbox and pretty much every publisher not having a show there. So the future looked extremely bleak for E3. But Phil Spencer and Xbox have always been huge fans of the event and what the whole event meant for the gaming industry, especially when it comes to America. Because while E3 at the beginning was meant for publishers and companies to negotiate things and also show off their games to each other, it's turned into a very gamer-friendly event that showcases what talented developers are working on. But most of all, it's where gamers can build relationships with the people making their favorite games. Something that Phil Spencer and Xbox in general value greatly. And after seeing the amount of support Xbox showed E3 this year, you can tell that they care about the event and they want to come back to the large press conference events that we're used to, where thousands of gamers come together to watch their favorite hobby get its time in the limelight. And after everything that was shown at E3 this year by Xbox, you can tell they're here to stay for the time being. And it would seem that E3 isn't dead with the amount of people that watch the event either. Here's what Phil Spencer had to say on Twitter about the support and what records were broken for them as Xbox. "Thank you for a great week, our most viewed E3 ever. We haven't felt players and the team sharing so much energy and excitement since the 360 era. We're inspired by the community's belief in Xbox and we will continue to innovate with players at the center of everything we do." Okay, so this is something that's truly fascinating to me because like I said before, E3 was on its last leg. So a lot of gamers kind of forgot about the event and even maybe ignored a lot of the announcements that were coming to it. But after Xbox's marketing team pushed E3 and said they'll have a huge event that involves Bethesda, it turned into hype. And for weeks, gamers were ready for new games and ready to escape into their favorite hobby, which is gaming. And to be quite honest, this could have been bad. Xbox could have had a pretty bad showing and it would have hurt E3 even more. That's what I truly believe. But instead, Xbox showed up and had their best event ever. There's no debating this to me. They truly had one of the best E3s I've ever seen. There were surprises, big games, awesome expansions, and not to mention great pacing. Everything about what they showed was top-notch and quality. No one can deny that. But most of all, it was all about the fans. That's something that Phil Spencer mentions in his tweet and even on the event itself. It's all about the fans and putting the players at the center of everything they do. And after that E3 event, I can truly say with confidence that Xbox is trying to put the gaming fans at the center of everything they're doing. No other company showed this many games, no other company put those games on a service that's so affordable, and most of all, they showed that they want to interact with fans and see what we want as gamers. That to me is the difference I've seen from Xbox the last couple of years. They truly blow fans away with the support and relationships they have with them, which is something this article points out right here. Xbox blows fans away with new games at E3 2021 conference. E3 2021 is over, but that doesn't mean that players are off the hype train. Many players are still riding the high from Xbox and Bethesda's E3 2021 conference, as they showed off plenty of new games as well as some console sellers. With Bethesda under their belt, it's certain that players are going to want to get in on the ground floor of Xbox Series XS now that Bethesda is making console exclusive games. Truer words have never been spoken because Xbox did blow fans away with their show, and anyone that says otherwise is just nitpicking or being a complete hater. Xbox had their best show in their history to me, and it wasn't bloated and it didn't drag on. There was nothing like that. Instead, it really established their investment in gaming and their commitment to the Xbox platform, but also showed that they're basically carrying E3 themselves, which is something that's pretty awesome by itself. Was there other shows by other publishers? Of course. Nintendo had a great show if you're a fan of their games. A lot of people loved what they had to show, and I thought some of the stuff was very interesting. But for me and for many others, Xbox showed the types of games I love, and they showed up for their fans. We have to remember, putting on a show like this costs a lot of money, especially for Xbox, because they had a huge stage, guests, gameplay, marketing. They went full on with this whole thing. And as a fan, I appreciate the effort, and they were rewarded for that effort by having their best E3 showing ever, and not to mention their most watched one. And I'm sure the people that run E3 are happy also, because they had two of the biggest publishers in the gaming world right there. Those two being Xbox and Bethesda. But now after that showing, we know it's just Xbox because Bethesda is Xbox. That's something people keep forgetting. It's that Bethesda always went to E3 and had an awesome show with a lot of fan interaction and plenty of awesome game announcements. But this year, they brought all that energy to the Xbox stage and showed that they'll be a part of Xbox forever. And like I said earlier, the most important thing about all of this is that they brought the games. If the games weren't there, this could have gone really bad for not only Xbox, but for E3 in general. Yet Xbox had the most anticipated game at the event with Forza Horizon 5, like Aaron Greenberg says right here. Congratulations to Forza Horizon Playground Games team on winning E3 overall most anticipated game of the show. Cannot think of the last time a racing game won E3. So happy for the team and cannot wait for November 9th. Now, there were a lot of games shown at E3 or around E3, including Nintendo themselves, who showed Breath of the Wild too. And even with all those popular games, Xbox took the title for the most anticipated game, which shouldn't surprise many people because Forza Horizon 5 was one of the best looking games at not only E3, but one of the best looking games I've seen in a very long time. It's insane how good Playground games are with the Forza tech engine, and this is coming from someone who isn't the biggest racing fan. I don't actually play that many racing games all that much, but the one I always play is Forza Horizon because it's such a good franchise, and I like the arcadey feel to it. So when it won that title from E3, I really wasn't surprised or shocked. But what some people aren't talking about is that Xbox also won Best Presentation at E3. While Forza being the most anticipated took the spotlight, the best award had to be that one for Xbox, being the best event. Because overall, they did have the best showing and it wasn't even close. At least for me, and of course, at least for the people at E3. I mean, think about it for half a second. Xbox came with high quality production, huge AAA games, new reveals, massive announcements, and even had smaller AAA games there for indie developers that looked insane on the Series X. They hit everything out of the park, and the people that benefited the most were us, the gamers. In a day and age where publishers like Sony don't care to show up to E3, it's great to see Xbox help E3 stay major in the gaming community. Now, of course, there's going to be people out there that say E3 isn't as important as it once was. And to some extent, I believe that's true. But after what we just saw, and after seeing so many gamers have a blast with E3, I could see it coming back in a big way next year. And I could see Xbox leading that charge. Maybe to the point that Sony would have to show up with PlayStation and give E3 the respect they don't want to give it. And as a gamer, I hope Sony does come back to E3, or at least has events close to E3 so we could have an amazing amount of new games being announced. Because I love to see what Sony has, and I love to see what Xbox has, and I love to see all the big game announcements from everyone that shows up at E3. Let's hope next year is even better, and most of all, let's thank Xbox, Nintendo, and every publisher that showed up to E3, because it solidifies that there will be another E3 next year where maybe, just maybe, fans can be there also and watch it live. I'm crossing my fingers because that's somewhere I want to be next year. But enough of what I think about E3, tell me what you think about it. Do you think Xbox saved E3? Did Xbox have the best conference at E3, or did Nintendo? Do you wish Sony showed up to E3 and cared to show their fans anything? Will Xbox force Sony to come back to E3 if they keep having big events like this? What was your favorite game that you saw at E3 this year? Are you even more hyped for next year's E3 now that we know it's not going anywhere? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button to support us out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I'm playing a lot of Chivalry 2, and I finally got back into Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Man, that game is so fun. I love how tight the controls are, the combat's fun. Sometimes when you're fighting things and the destructible environment hits, it's kind of breathtaking. The game really does look stunning on the Ps5, and I'm playing it on my OLED, which makes it even more stunning. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. Insomniac is one of the best developers that Sony has, so I knew it was going to be a high quality game, and I'm probably going to finish it this weekend. I want to jump into it a lot, and I'm going to take a night to just really play it all night because it's a fun game, and I really think it deserves the attention it was getting. I know it got kind of overshadowed as E3 came along, but so far, I'm having a great time with it, so I recommend that game to everyone that has a PS5. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your PS5? Are you playing Ratchet & Clank? Are you playing Chivalry 2 like I am and just cutting people's heads off? Or are you playing something on your PC? Let me know down below because that's what we're here for. It's to talk games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching. And until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.